start with the prayer.
Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Saha Viryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12. We'll chant verses 15 to 20.
Yasmanno dvijate lokah, lokanno dvijate chayah, harshamarshbhayodvegaihi mukto yassa cha me priyah, anapekshashuchirdakshah, udasino gatavyatah, sarvarambha parityagi, yo madbhaktas sa me priyah, yo na hrishyati na dveshti, na shochati na kankshati, shubha shubha parityagi, bhaktimanyas sa me priyah, samashatrau cha mitre cha, tatha manapamanayoho, shitoshna sukha dukkheshu, samasanga vivarjitah, tulyanindastutir mauni, santushto yena kenachit, अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदम् यथोक्तम् पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः.
So currently we are studying the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. And we are on the third topic, which is called 35 qualities of a Bhakta. So who is a spiritual person? And last week we studied qualities 16 to 21. Correct me if I am wrong.
We did up to unconcerned.
Yeah, Sarvarambha Parityagi. I think that is 21, correct? Yeah. So let's have a quick recap. So quality number 16, Anapeksha. The English translation is free from wants. Now, as you get established in the spiritual path, this is how you get established, this is how you progress, this is how you know you are progressing. That feeling of something is missing in my life becomes less and less. So the word which we use is incompleteness or void. So ignorant person is full of void. And he or she does not understand that anything from the world, any object or being from the world, cannot remove that void. That void is a product of your ignorance. You're already full, paripurna. And ignorance of your own fulfillment, the knowledge of your own fulfillment, creates that incompleteness. And then you start going towards the world. Your thoughts, they start going towards the world to address that incompleteness which is experienced due to ignorance. And then we saw a number of examples that how that incompleteness remains throughout your life. And we genuinely believe if I take care of this in my life, that incompleteness will go. So the standard example which we give is that of a bachelor boy, just to explain the concept. That you feel all I need is a partner, you get a partner. Then you feel all I need is a child, you get a child. You feel all I need is hundreds of conditions. So therefore, as you get this knowledge, the feeling of incompleteness becomes less. So that's the indication that you are going in the right direction. We're just recapping. We discussed in detail last week. Then quality number 17 is Suchi. Suchi means purity. A spiritual person is pure, externally and internally. And if you cannot become aware of impurity in external environment, there is no way you're going to become aware of impurity internally, which is far subtle and difficult to become aware of to begin with. Forget about addressing. Then I gave you some examples of how Vedanta Academic campus is spick and span, how Swamiji's room is kept. So you and I can apply this in our day-to-day life. The standard example, very easy example, is take care of your car. You know, I mean, if you cannot clean your car, there is no way you can clean your personality. I could be talking on Bhagavad Gita, talking on quality called purity, and my car could be in a mess. You know, so how I'm going to purify my inner personality? Then quality number 18 is called Daksha. Daksha is dexterous. So it's a very interesting word. All everything put together is Daksha. Like your spiritual person is alert, that intellectual alertness. That's the easiest explanation. So when you are intellectually alert, automatically you become smart, prompt, attentive, punctual in whatever you do in any facet of your life. You're alert to notice your own weaknesses. You're alert about your study, whether your study is going in the proper direction, all that put together. Then quality number 19 was Udasina. Udasina meaning unconcerned, detached attachment. Since your thoughts are on the higher, you don't care about non-essentials of life. That is all it means. Then we discussed example of Village Preacher from Village Preacher by Oliver Goldsmith, where he makes a statement, more bent to raise the wretched than to rise. That was his motto. This is how he functioned in life. More bent to raise the wretched than to rise. I mean, he worked for Loka Sangraha, he worked for the welfare of the world. So that's what we should learn from that. And you don't have to do anything different for that. Wherever you are, whatever profession you are engaged in, all you need to do is just think about the welfare of others. So that quality. And then why would you care about yourself? It's not that you ignore yourself. Otherwise, all the time you are concerned about me and me and me alone. How much in my 401k, how much in my HSA, how much in my this, how much I Now that if you misunderstand, then you'll be in a financial mess. That is where it's not, these qualities are usually misunderstood. So obviously you are smart in the way you handle your finances, goes without saying. But you can't be focused only on that. Do you get the difference? So how do you get that? So externally you do whatever is required, but internally you don't care. You're not obsessed with it. So therefore, more bent to raise the wretched than to rise. Village preacher. So what 401k village preacher had? He did not need. And in the same poem, he says, passing rich with 40 pounds a year. Passing rich with 40 pounds a year. It was written 400 years back. So 40 pounds, maybe it was a modest income in our language. I don't know. Let's say like $60,000, And he was rich because his expenses were within $60,000. So these are the practical implications of this quality. And then verse number 20, untroubled. So what troubles you and me or anybody is your own egocentric desires, your selfishness. And also you don't understand that world functions on law of cause and effect. So we discussed example from Bhajagovindam where he says, is there no ordainer in layman's language? Is there no God in this world? It's not chaos. So whatever cause you sow, effect is assured to you. Then also we refer to the poem Olive Tree, isn't it? Hermit 1 versus Hermit 2. And then the last quality which we discussed was, which is 21, Sarva Rambha Parityagi, renouncer of all undertaking. So there is no egoistic feeling that I have started anything. It's total humility, and you could be the most successful person in your own profession or in any aspect of your life. So you understand that you have a talent, and the whole world, universe is like a big jigsaw puzzle, and you identify your talent and you play your role to the best of your ability. Otherwise, you get into that egoistic notion. Another word which we use is kartutva bhavda. It's a very interesting word. So I am the doer. Because of me, the whole thing is functioning. See, many years back, somebody gifted me a ticket to watch Macbeth at Stratford, which is in Ontario near Waterloo. And incidentally, I was not far from that. 6 months I spent there, just like 10, 15 miles. And I saw some of the most like fascinating plays in English language while I was there. Macbeth, Othello, and few other. So I still remember Macbeth. And the person who acted as Macbeth, he was also the producer, and they gave like two, three things. He's a producer, he's a co-producer, and whatnot. You know. Now, if he were to get that feeling, oh, because of me, the whole thing is happening, just to explain the concept. See, it has got no meaning. I mean, he did not write Shakespeare to begin with, and then after any play or even movie for that matter, see, they show that list, the people who have contributed. There are hundreds of people. There's a producer, there's a co-producer, there is co-co-co-producer. It goes on and on and on. And if you get that feeling, if that actor were to get that feeling, I'm trying to explain the concept that because of me, all this Stratford is full. That statement has got absolutely no meaning. So things have been going on perennially, and they will continue without you and me. I mean, where are you and I? Everything is God's work. I mean, all we can do is put our shoulder to the wheel. That's all we can do. It's a fascinating quality. Renouncer of all undertaking. So it's nothing but dissolution of an ego, and it comes from knowledge. So this is what we covered last week. So let's move on to the next verse number 17, which covers qualities 22 to 26.
यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः.
Translation. He who neither rejoices nor hates, nor grieves nor desires, renouncer of good and evil, who is full of devotion, he is dear to me. Same Bhakta Priya. Every verse he qualifies. Who is a spiritual person if you have these qualities? So we get qualities 22 to 26 in this verse, and 22 to 25 they are studied together. I will explain how. So, na drushyati, na dveshti, na shochati, na kankshati. So 22, 23, 24, 25. So they are studied together. Does not rejoice, does not hate, does not grieve, does not desire. Now he is talking about range of emotions you and I can go through. And that happens when your mind is strong or when your mind has overpowered your personality and when your intellect is weak. So you go through this range of emotions. Now when he says, na rushyati na dveshti, does not rejoice, does not hate, he is talking about our likes and dislikes. Another word for that is ragadvesha. In chapter 3, he introduces that concept. All of you must be aware of that. And it sounds very innocuous, likes and dislikes. I mean, so what? But what we don't understand that you could be the victim of your likes and dislikes whole life, and most people are. Not only you could be the victim of your own likes and dislikes, there are chances in 9 out of 10 that you're not aware that you are a victim of your own likes and dislikes. Therefore, in the third chapter, which is called as Karma Yoga, Path of Action, he uses 3 strong words when he talks about our likes and dislikes. They are Shatrum, they are your enemies. Paripantino, they are your greatest enemies. And what is the third word? Is very famous word. Nityavairinam. Nityavairinam. They are your constant enemies. So that enemy is within us. My enemy is within me. Your enemy is within me. What is that? Our own likes and dislikes. Ragadveshas. And since early childhood, we have cultivated these likes and dislikes innocently. Raga, dveshas. Your parents have contributed quite a lot by pampering you. Then your relatives, they keep on pampering you. When you get into a relationship as an adult, your spouse, any relationship is nothing but catering to each other likes and dislikes. So what happens by the time you are 17, 18, 20, you are nothing but a solid pool of likes and dislikes. And you start operating from that pool of likes and dislikes. So instead of what you ought to do in life, you act on what you like and what you don't like. So that's the whole problem. So how you should address this is, first of all, you should become aware that am I a victim of my own likes and dislikes? Answer is yes. It's a question of more or less. Number one, at what part of my personality, at what level of my personality. I am victimized by these likes and dislikes. So you can start from material level. See, otherwise, there is no way you will understand this, that how it is affecting you. As a concept, you understand likes and dislikes. They are deadly, but then how do I apply that in my day to day life? So, material level. Do you like to live beyond your means? Find out. Ask yourself this question. Or do you like to live frugally? So your mind may feel like your income is, let's say, $40,000. Your expenses are at $60,000. You like to do that, but then what happens if you do it? Definitely, you will not like to live within $40,000. But does that mean you should not do that? Then you can come to your own physical level. Your food habits. And who doesn't like junk food? Now, if somebody says I don't like junk food, once in a while is okay. But if you keep on eating wrong type of food, what will happen? Exercise. Do you like to do exercise every day? Whatever you do, you may play golf, you may do yoga, you may go for a walk, or you may lift weight in the gym. Whatever exercise we all need to do. So the tendency is to laze around, But what will happen if we laze around? Emotional level. Again, you can go on applying examples. Intellectual level. Swamiji keeps on saying, systematic, methodic study. So I must have used that word at least million times in this classroom. But it's a mind which does not allow you to be systematic and methodic in your study. So like this, you can go on multiplying the examples. So you need to identify what are the likes and dislikes in your own personality, material level, physical level, emotional level, intellectual level, even spiritual level. And then you understand what happens if you act on your likes and dislikes. In chapter 18, he beautifully explains the whole concept. So he says, your likes and dislikes, they are like nectar in the beginning, but they turn out to be poison in the end. And they seem like poison in the beginning, but it turns out to be nectar in the end. Just take example of food. It's very easy to understand. Now, any junk food is so enjoyable. I mean, to cook, who likes to cook? At least I can talk about myself. If it wasn't for these ladies, I myself would have been the big victim of the food habit. Just go to the market, pick up something, ready to eat. It's okay once in a while. Or go to some shop and pick up some, I don't know, nice things. So it is so enjoyable, not to put efforts, go for something quick. But what happens in the end, in the long run, to the body, Or take example of again exercise, good food habits, getting up early in the morning. So it is not, it does not give pleasure. You need to put efforts. But what happens if you're a disciplined person? The whole life turns out to be beautiful. So identify your likes and dislikes. Understand what likes and dislikes are. I like this, I don't like that. I like this, I don't like that. That doesn't mean you discard your likes and dislikes, but you need to examine your likes and dislikes. And if it is interfering with your obligations in life, if it is interfering with your physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual well-being, then definitely you need to fix that particular like and dislike. Another problem about likes and dislikes is world cannot cater to your likes and dislikes. It's not possible. You like warm weather. Your whole life, a good part of year, you'll be frustrated in Michigan. Yesterday, I go to my usual place for a walk. Near my house, 2, 3 beautiful trails. And I was behind one family. 6, 7 of them were walking, and everybody was very chirpy. Mom, dad, mom, dad, mom, dad. And 15, 20 minutes, all they were talking about was weather, weather, weather. Last 7 days, the man was saying, Uh, 3 days back, the weather was in the 60s. Today also is going to be in 70s, But next week, oh my God, it's going to be in 80s. I mean, what if weather is it goes beyond 60s or 70s? I mean, are you going to be upset? Yes, you are going to be upset. That means in Michigan, I don't know, 10 months in a year, you'll be upset. So what kind of a life is that? So world cannot cater to your likes and dislikes. This is what you need to understand. You want gas price to be, I don't know, $2.80. I mean, how can it remain $2.80? Okay, then you buy EV. I think even DT, right? 8.5% increase. I mean, yesterday I heard. So anything can bother you. You you like only joy. There is sorrow you don't like. You want only pleasant things in your life. Unpleasant things you cannot handle. You like to be honored all the time. When you're dishonored, you cannot handle. We can go on multiplying examples. So world cannot cater to your what? Likes and dislikes. So when they are not catered to, what happens? The mental agitations. So understand the concept of raga dveshas, likes and dislikes. Become aware of your own likes and dislikes and fix it with this knowledge. Then he talks about one who does not grieve and desire, which is quality 24 and 25, correct? Yeah, 24 and 25 is quite straightforward. Is nothing but you're not victimized by your worry and anxiety. That's all it means. So while you're acting in the present, especially if your desires are self centered, constantly your mind will swing between worry, anxiety, worries of the past, anxiety for the future. So that's what saps your energy. It's not, we believe it is action. No, you could be 24/7 dynamic, right? Acting, dynamic, but you cannot be tired. So what tires you is your what? Worries of the past, anxieties for the future. Simple example is no child is tired. How do you explain that? As long as it is active, it is like full of action. Bring any child here, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old child. It is impossible that 10 of us are here. Even Shailesh Bhai also with all his experience may struggle. I remember if it wasn't for Shailesh Bhai in the first retreat, 2019, Vedanta was, I think nobody could control him. Shailesh Bhai, he knows what buttons to press. So it's not how, and 3 days he was like, mom, dad. Any child is like that. You and I, by the time we reach Glen Harbor, we are tired. In modern cars, EV, Tesla, you go, what, self drive, autopilot, what have you done? Nothing. By the time you are in Glen Harbor, you are tired. So, what tires you and me is not the action. What tires us? Worries of the past, anxieties of the future. So, the bottom line is where are your thoughts? That's the bottom line. If your thoughts are on the higher values, then lower values will not bother you. But if your thoughts are on the lower values, egocentric desires, you will be victimized by those desires. It's a law of life. And then quality number 26, Shubha Shubha Parityagi, renouncer of good and evil. So all it means is external happenings in the world do not affect your internal equanimity. It's not in black and white. To the extent is understood. So to the extent you are established in this knowledge, to that extent you are not disturbed by what's happening in the world. And world is an expression of pairs of opposites. Good and evil, righteousness and unrighteousness, peace and war, heat and cold. That is what. So Are you getting affected by that? Yes. But to what extent? If every little thing is upsetting you, then you know correction is required. So your thoughts are on the higher, and intellect is strong to control the mind. We are discussing the solution here. How do you achieve that state? Number one, your thoughts are on the higher values of life. This is what we are studying. And even though you are studying, even though you are genuine, still mind will get affected once in a while. Certain things do bother us. So your intellect is powerful enough to control that. Weather, for example. So you go out, it's sweltering heat, and you go on a trail. First of all, there's heat and bugs all around. We are doing like this. I mean, it is going to bother you. But then you say, hey, I mean, how does it really matter? So your intellect is powerful to control your mind, your mind's emotions. Vis-a-vis, your thoughts are on not on the higher, that is ignorant people, and your intellect is weak and you can't control your mind's emotions. So slowly, knowledge brings about the change. You don't have to worry. And we often give that titration example. Is fascinating. Most of you know that example. We have that PowerPoint, Makran. So any genuine seeker, if he or she understands this example, titration example, your life is made. That how knowledge is helping you every single day of your life, every moment of your life. See, we all know that titration example we did in the school, So that is beaker, right? Yeah, in that beaker, there is a chemical, and in that tube, that burette, there is another chemical. So, like drop by drop, you are adding that. It's not that you release it in one go. So, drop by drop, you are adding that chemical, and then maybe after whatever, like 100 drops, 1000 drops, you see the reaction, the color changes. So that beaker represents your mind, my mind, full of desires. And that chemical in that burette, that drop, is nothing but your daily association with this knowledge. That is important. One drop equals what? One drop equals what? Your daily study and reflection. So that one drop you add every day to your existing desires, right? What happens internally? Is that drop making any difference? Your effort, every unit of effort which you are putting every day, what is happening internally to you?
You're changing, growing.
Yeah.
Yes, Tim?
You're changing, you're growing.
But your spouse may not agree. Your children may not agree. Your colleagues may not agree. Right? That's the problem. A lot of people, they say, I go home and I lecture. First of all, Vedanta lecture. Then my husband or wife, what did you hear? In fact, you have become worst. I mean, 5 times in a week you screamed at me. Now, I mean, 5 times in a day. Don't take it literally, right? See, this is what you need to understand, that every unit of effort which you are putting, which is your daily study and reflection, something is definitely happening, but it's not apparent. Therefore, that titration example, every drop goes into that beaker, you don't see the change, but that does not mean there is no chemical reaction happening. Definitely something is happening, but after 1000th drop, then you see that change. So your job, my obligation is that daily study and reflection on this knowledge. It's like adding the drop. Chemical reaction is within the law of causation. You have no control on that. Your control is just to put that unit of effort. Effect is automatic. You may not see that effect initially. Definitely, you may not see that. You will not see that effect. That does not mean nothing is happening. So, if you understand this titration experiment, all these 35 qualities, they are linked to that experiment. That your daily association with this knowledge, we keep on saying, my guru keeps on saying, consistency, consistency. Anytime we meet him, even after 30 years, the first thing he will ask me is like, are you studying? Are you getting up and studying? He is not interested in anything at all. Swamiji, we had a wonderful retreat in northern Michigan. 25, 30 people were there. Next year, more people are expected. Why? Because Radha has found some hidden gem close to us, and we're expecting, I don't know, 1 million people for that retreat and all that. He is not interested in that at all. If you're not in touch with this knowledge, nothing matters. You're not changing. But if you are in touch with this knowledge every single day, don't say that one drop could be once in a month also. It's okay to begin with. At least something is going. But every day you get up, you study as per your capacity. 15 minutes, 20 minutes to begin with. Later on, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Forget about all these 35 qualities. It is getting churned inside, which we don't understand what's happening. But the law of causation is functioning meticulously. So that titration example. Verse number 18.
समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः
Alike to friend and foe, and also to honor and dishonor, alike to heat and cold, to joy and sorrow, entirely free from attachment. So, quality number 27 and 28 are mentioned in verse number 18. So, alike to friend and foe, honor and dishonor, heat and cold, joy and sorrow is quality number 27. Now, what it means is your inner reaction to various experiences in life. That's all it means. So, how do you know you're on the right path in life with this knowledge? So, how do you react to people who are friendly to you, who are not friendly to you? How do you react to honor? How do you react to dishonor? How do you react to heat and cold? How do you handle joy and sorrow in life? So when he says alike to friend and foe, it is part and parcel of life. How can everybody be friendly to you? It's not possible. How can everybody be inimical to you? That also is not possible. So you will come across people who are, some are friendly to you, some are not friendly to you, and in good many cases for no fault of yours. In fact, most of the times it's not your fault, right? That person has some poison in him or her, and he just happens to bite you. That is all. It's like a poisonous snake. If you're bitten by a poisonous snake, it's not that every snake is poisonous. In Michigan, I think there are no poisonous snakes. I wish Yudhishthir was here. He's the authority. I mean, I can't make that statement, but you can confirm with Yudhishthir. He used to take us on, I don't know how many treks and all that. bygone days, and yeah. Well, let's hope so. And confidently, he will tell, there are no poisonous snakes here. So after that, I become very bold. Yeah. Deep into the woods, I go. I mean, Yudhishthir, I remember. So I have that confidence in him. So if you are bitten by a, I don't know, rattlesnake in Tennessee, I'm just magnifying, see, whose fault is that? It's interesting. I'm trying to convey something here. Whose fault is that? Or how do you handle that experience? How do you relate to that experience? If you're bitten by a rattlesnake, don't take it literally, just you're driving, somebody cuts you off, and that person screams at you. That is a rattlesnake, right, on the road. How do you handle that situation? What happens? What can happen in that situation? You
Snake
go
is
home,
snake.
your wife screams at you. Where were you on Saturday morning? What Vedanta you are learning, all that. Enough of that. Nothing is happening to you. Nothing will ever change you. Whatever. Rattlesnake at home. So how do you handle that experience? How do
Snakes
you relate
was
to it?
nice to bite. Snakes was nice to bite. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Very good answer. See, the problem is when you and I personalize. Do you get it? Oh, why was I bitten by a snake? Why was yes? The fact is that you were bitten by a snake. It's a fact. It's not anybody's opinion. It's a fact. But you are personalizing. See, that snake didn't. He could have bitten anybody. You just happen to be within his striking distance. So that is all. So most of the times it is like that in life. The problem is you and I personalize. So it is that personalization which affects you. That why he is nasty to me, why she is nasty to me, why he screamed at me, why he yelled at me. That is that person's nature. You just happen to come within his striking distance. So you get affected by these pairs of opposites when you what? Personalize. And we personalize everything. That is why there is affectation. Yes, but having said that, how you relate to people who are friendly to you, who are not friendly to you, your user intellect. See, otherwise you will get into trouble. If somebody wants to punch you and you try to hug that person, I mean, it's absurd. So how you relate to them is different. But how you understand internally, that is through knowledge, through your own growth. Alike to heat and cold. Give example, that family in heritage park, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100, the temperature, whole life you will be discussing that. Alike to joy and sorrow. So he's talking about emotional level. I mean, how can you not feel joy? How can you not feel sorrow as a human being? But if you are affected by that, then the problem starts. And why you are affected again? Because your intellect is weak. You're not able to control your emotions. Also, you don't understand that life is nothing but a series of joy and sorrow. So, how can there be joy all the time? How can also there be sorrow all the time? I mean, have you faced a life where there is nothing but sorrow all the time? Since I was born, I don't know what joy is. I mean, it's impossible. Even if you're born in a prison, worst of worst conditions, there is some joy. Somebody gives you a piece of bread, that is joy. So life is nothing but a series of joy and sorrow. But you're not affected by joy and sorrow. How you're not affected by joy and sorrow? Because your intellect is powerful enough to control your mind. Too much of joy, I mean, you get hyper excited. All these sports we see, India right now, that IPL is going on, it's fascinating. I mean, you don't need this lecture. Just see how people, some of them, they come dressed as a clown, somebody comes dressed as a monster, somebody comes dressed as a god, demon, screaming and yelling, and I mean, you enjoy. Definitely, you enjoy, but not to that extent. Or when the team you are supporting loses, you see the reaction. Yes, your team is losing, you feel sorry. Your team is winning, you feel happy. But you're not carried away by joy and sorrow. Similarly, at home, something nice happens, definitely you enjoy. Some unpleasant situation happens, we all have to face that in our life. Fine, I mean, life has to go on. So, at emotional level. Similarly, at intellectual level, honor and dishonor, there are people who will dishonor you, there are people who will honor you. So you don't get carried away when somebody honors you. Also, you don't get affected when somebody hurts you, insults you, dishonor. But the problem with you and me is we keep on leaning on the world, that is body, mind, intellect, for happiness. That's the problem. The nature of the world is it is full of pairs of opposites. There is no happiness, truly speaking, in the world. But you lean on the world for happiness. And when you don't get that happiness, you complain. You lean on your body for happiness. I like 70s, whether in the 70s. When it goes in the 80s, body will be affected. So I'm affected. Emotionally also, you want every day my spouse should greet me with a big smile and cook food for me. It may happen good many times, but when the day doesn't happen, you're leaning on your partner for happiness. So we can go on multiplying examples. So you should lean on knowledge for happiness, self-sufficiency for happiness, not on the world. So yeah, I've given this example, I don't know, 10 times, 100 times, but still it gives me that kick when I explain it. So I knew a group of elderly people in their 70s, very nice, lovely, affectionate people. 10, 15 of them, all of them were in the age group of 70s to 75 or maybe 80s. And once in 3 weeks or once in a month, they used to get together at somebody's place and they used to have a party. I mean, potluck. And after every potluck, they will come and they will say, gone. My next 3, 4 days are gone, because they used to eat all the rubbish food, greasy food, spicy food. People in their 70s, 75, and all that. So one day I asked that lady whom I knew, husband also was there. Why you keep on eating that food? Once in a while you make that mistake is okay. I seen them doing that for years and years. Once in a month is like 1 or 2 days are gone. Stomach upset, this upset. To which that lady said, see, when a group of people they get together, there is no fun if there is no spicy and greasy food. This is what exactly I am quoting. She said in Hindi, I don't know how to translate that in English. Maja nahi aata hai. There is no fun. This is English translation, but it loses that punch. Maja means fun. That much Hindi you should know, my American friends. Rick, you can. Today, Susie will ask you, what did you learn? Maja. Maja. That's it. Maja, yeah. I enjoyed. I had a good time. So, like, maja nahi aata tha, Every month you are doing that. So it sounds very hilarious example. This is what is happening to all of us. We know there is no happiness in the world, but still we lean on the world through body, mind, intellect for happiness. So when are you going to lean on the supreme reality, the knowledge, self-sufficiency for happiness, where it is actually there? Quality 28, last quality in this verse. Sangha vivarjitaha, free from attachment. And luckily, we spent a lot of time when we discussed quality number 4. It's exactly same. Mindness. Lack of, okay, what is the quality? Quality number 4, exact. Nirmamaha. So, no mindness. So, mindness comes from attachment. It is a manifestation of attachment. So maybe you can access the recording and listen to, like, I think we discussed it for good 10, 15 minutes. If somebody is interested, make it available to them, like Jigar, Vijay, whoever is Makran handling that. But just to give you it in a nutshell, what it means. Attachment means mental bondage. Attachment means attitude of possessiveness. You may possess the whole world. There is no connection of that with attachment. Are you bound to that? Are you becoming possessive about your possessions, what you contact? So any mental bondage, any attachment will produce sorrow and suffering. It's a law of life. Nobody can escape. And you are attached to practically everything in life. So how can you be happy? Nothing wrong with the world, nothing wrong with objects and beings of the world, nothing wrong with the relationships, nothing wrong with wealth, nothing wrong with what is happening in the world. The problem is you become attached, you become bound to it. So that is why mentally you're never free. Wherever you go, you carry that burden of possessiveness, attachment. So it's nothing externally happening, it is all internally happening to you. So people cling on to practically everything, objects and beings of the world, name, fame, wealth, family, and whatnot. So where there is attachment, there is sorrow and suffering. It's a law of life. Nobody can escape that law. And you are generally attached to everything. Yes, some attachments you specialize in that. Like a PhD. But high school level, middle school level, everything applies to you. See, for example, one person may be totally attached to wealth, right? But the same person may not be that attached to other things. Or one person could be attached to family, my children, my grandchildren, my relatives, my this, my that. But the same person could be relatively free from attachment to wealth, relatively speaking. So generally, you're attached to everything. But there are one or two areas in everybody's life where that attachment is pronounced. Yesterday, I had lunch with uncle. It's the last 15 years I've been having. And he asked very innocuous question. And I thought it's a very practical question. So he asked me, better, what should I do? So much I have done now, last phase of my life. What extra efforts you want me to put? So I told him, you are at the best phase of your life, actually speaking. I think he is 75, 76 or something, still in relatively good health. He's a doctor. He can definitely practice for another 3 to 4 years, 5 years. No financial worries. Children they have settled down. He's got that fixation on Swamiji and on this knowledge. So I just told him, Uncle, become aware of your weaknesses. Whatever that weakness is. Could be attachment, for example. Again, in attachment, attached to what? Am I attached to wealth? Am I attached to my wife? Am I attached to my like a child? So you need to work on that. Most people, they are not, you can't say most people, everybody is attached to everything. Not only they are attached to everything, they are not aware of their attachment. So therefore, you can't fix that problem. And it's deadly. Where attachment is pronounced, you will be least aware. So how do you deal with that attachment? It's not possible. So with the help of this knowledge, that's what I told him, that don't worry about, don't get result oriented. Knowledge will take care of everything. But if you can become aware of your attachment, whatever that attachment is, could be to object, it could be to beings, it could be something tangible, it could be something intangible. Become aware of that, and with the help of this knowledge, try to fix it. Otherwise, whole life you will be full of agitations. And most pronounced attachment is parents' attachment to children. Any attachment is deadly, but here it is seen. Just as attachment to religion is seen. He is saying a true devotee should be free from attachment. The so-called devotee is full of attachment to his or her religion, my way. Otherwise, forget about it. If you're an angel with people who look like you, who pray like you, who have similar ideas and ideologies. Anybody who is outside that angel suddenly turns into a monster. So so-called devotees in any religion, they are destroying the world. There's no exception to this rule. That does not mean everybody is a fanatic. So it's a fascinating quality. So you could be free from, you could be detached from objects and beings, like no attachment to wealth, no attachment to family, detached. You're detached, but you could get stuck to religion, my religion. So become aware of your attachments and understand what attachment does to you. It's a law of life. The moment you are attached to any object or a being, it will produce mental agitations. It will produce sorrow. It will produce suffering. And if it is pronounced, there will be separation. Example, parents and children. It is clearly seen. And in 8 out of 10 cases, perhaps 9 out of 10 cases, you can see that. Most children, they run away from their parents. You won't accept it. How can you accept it? But now you can correlate with this example. They love you dearly. But even if they want to love you, they cannot come near you. You understand the problem. Or if they come near you, you will go and sit on their shoulder, literally. I mean, mentally you are doing that. Nobody can handle that. My baby, my baby. Baby is 58 years old now. But still, like my baby, it could be even 72-year-old also. It doesn't matter. You go to even 72-year-old person goes to a mother, still is a baby. So there it is more pronounced. Attachment to religion is more pronounced. Attachment to wealth is pronounced. You can clearly see that. So wherever there is attachment, there is sorrow, there is suffering, there is separation, and you lose your object of attachment. It's a law of life. So become aware of that. So sangha vivarjitaha, free from attachment. So if you are free from attachment, then you are dear to me. Who is saying? Krishna. I mean, that is a spiritual person. He is my blue-eyed boy. This is what he is saying. All right, so it's time up. Radha is getting restless for announcement. So it's an indication for me, okay, stop now. Okay. Yes, ma'am. What is announcement? Speak into the microphone, please.
We have a new upcoming Vedanta study class. It is on one of the introductory books written by Swamiji, Swami Parthasarathi, on governing business and relationship. It begins next Sunday, June 7th at 9:30 a.m. You will receive emails with details and information of this study class. No registration is required for the Gita class members. As it is the same Zoom link that we use for this class, you can save it and use it for the new class. However, participants are encouraged to forward the email or WhatsApp messages to any friends or contacts or family who might be interested. It is a very practical and a very relevant text for everyone who is in business and in family, for all age groups, especially young students, professionals, and working individuals. Please do forward and share it. Next, we have a special Vedanta retreat with Amitji in October in the Metro Detroit area in Hawley, Michigan, which is only 45 minutes from Detroit City. It is at the Maryville Retreat Center. It is a very beautiful and serene setting where one can renew and reflect. This one-day retreat will be held on October 11th, Sunday, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. with lecture sessions, Q&A, and breakout discussion sessions. We will mimic the 2-day retreat we have, weekend retreat that we usually have twice a year, or the Vedanta Academy retreat in a shortened version. Breakfast and lunch will be included. Please mark the dates and look for further emails and details on these events. Thank you.
So, any quick questions before we conclude from today's discussion? What are we discussed today?
Swamiji, one quick clarification is that
Yes, uncle.
the personalization. We personalize hurtful things. Do we personalize joyful things and get affected? And is personalization, I understand, is it a quality of mind or intellect?
No, personalization is nothing but ego.
Okay.
This is how ego functions. See, it is my body, it is my intellect, it is my personality. So that's the definition of ego. What is ego? It's nothing but that arrogating principle in you, which links, which connects body, mind, intellect. This is mine, this is mine. So personalization is a very easy way of explaining that how ego functions. Because somebody else is affected, you may identify with that person, but you're not affected. Well, there is no personalization. It's a very simple concept to understand. For example, there is some problem happening at your neighbor's house. You may go and genuinely help the neighbor. But end of the day, when you come home, maybe there is a party in your backyard and you slightly overeat, but the neighbor may not be able to eat that day. So though you may identify with that person, but you're not affected. Why he or she is affected? Because they are personalizing. It is my problem. So same thing happened to Arjuna. He personalized the whole thing, and therefore he could not face the civil war. He collapsed. So it may be small expression, it may be larger expression, but it's nothing but manifestation of ego. So as you dissolve your ego, personalization becomes less. But you have to be aware that what is that personalization. And we innocently, when I say innocently due to ignorance, we have a tendency to personalize. That tendency is there in all of us. It's a question of more or less.
Do we personalize good things in life too?
Mostly we personalize good things only, My baby, 58-year-old baby. Is it not personalization? What
Yeah,
else?
yeah. Thank you.
All right, so see you next week.